How Juice Bar got started was that I was literally just fat, sick, and nearly dead. And I saw that documentary by Joe Cross one night on Netflix, and it just blew my doors off. I mean, he was telling my story. And so we were already looking for a job or a business to start. I was already juicing. I was beginning to feel great. My wife happens to be an amazing chef. So we said, let's just roll all the dice and buy that business and convert it into a juice bar.
As far as what I would consider like the most popular essential oil shots here at Juice Bar, I would really have to say the Sniffle Stopper.
We use the On Guard blend with fresh ginger root and lemon and a little sprinkle of cayenne pepper. It's a great boost to your immune system.
I would say personally popular for me is the Slim and Sassy shot. As someone who is on a active weight loss journey, I was always looking for something, and the pineapple juice with a shot of Slim and Sassy, when I'm getting hungry, I can take a shot of that, and it curbs the appetite, and it really helps with my metabolism. It keeps me going and keeps me strong.
I think for Juice Bar, using essential oils is kind of like using a superfood, but for oils, and it's just a really great way to get a lot of nutrients in one little tiny drop. And so if we can add that to our juices, which are already really nutritious, if people practice oils, that's just an added benefit for them.
The benefits of juicing for me personally are a great way to get all my fruits and all my veggies in a quick amount of time.
For some people, it's just a healthy beverage option with lunch instead of a soda or a tea or something.
It kind of played this role in my life where I was able to get a lot of nutrients in while still being really easy on my digestive system.
Garbage in, garbage out. The more juice I drink, the better I feel.
I think for anybody, it's just a good segue into eating more fruits and vegetables.
Just lose weight, feel great, have fun, be amazing, and not put back on the 50 or 60 pounds that I lost.
I'm Justin Harrison, and 11 years ago, my wife and I joined doTERRA, and at that time we had 4 children, and we've doubled since then, and we now have 8. And you can say we use a lot of oils. Having 8 kids is a little bit like organized chaos. They are always hungry, always. So if they had to choose between oils and food, food wins. So John moved in to the neighborhood a couple years ago, and we didn't know him other than we knew they were in doTERRA, and we immediately just hit it off and became workout buddies. And he's my trainer, pushing me, I push him.
I'm John Bush. I'm a father of 8 amazing children. I'm married to my best friend, high school sweetheart Lauren, and our family has been involved with doTERRA since 2012.
Hey guys, we're so excited to have you join us today. We're going to talk a little bit about reducing the toxic
People ask me all the time, how do we do it? It's basically like a party every single day. There are tears, there are smiles. This is why we need oils. But the rewards greatly, greatly outweigh any of the challenging times. The most important thing in my life is my family. I have missed holidays and birthdays due to previous careers prior to doTERRA. That time freedom right now, I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
When I was introduced to doTERRA, I was in the midst of trying to keep my yoga studio afloat. I loved the oils, but I was apprehensive about network marketing, and I didn't have the capacity for another business. But my upline really believed in me, and she never pushed me, but I watched her business thriving, and it was just from that inspiration that I eventually leaned into the business opportunity. And it was really from a place of desiring freedom. I wanted to be free from any limitations that were keeping me from being my most generous, whole, kind, loving self. So about a year after we hit silver, I became a mom for the first time. And leading up to our daughter Poppy's birth, I just had worked really hard. I just worked really intentionally to plant some seeds and really just to gather some momentum so that I could peel back a bit after she was born. We had a really beautiful home birth, and Poppy was perfectly healthy when she was born. We were so grateful for our doTERRA income, and Marty was able to be home with us for the first 3 weeks. Then the unexpected happened, and on the evening of Halloween, we found ourselves in the ER with Poppy. She was just 6 months old, and we were flown to Salt Lake City, where we learned quickly that she had a ruptured brain aneurysm. We found out that it was incredibly rare. She was the youngest case of this particular type of aneurysm, and we waited through the night until morning when she could have the emergency surgery to put a clip on the affected vessel. We were in the hospital for 3 weeks while Poppy recovered, and all the while my doTERRA income was steady. So my husband never had to leave our side the whole time that we were there. I believed wholeheartedly that doTERRA was part of God's provision plan for our family, long before we could understand what we would really need. And at the time, I was barely just discovering how true that was. Poppy was rapidly improving at home, but the day after Christmas, we found ourselves back in the ER and back on a flight to Salt Lake City, where we learned that Poppy had experienced a second ruptured brain aneurysm, which shocked everyone. It had developed quickly, and it was unheard of. So our surgeons decided to go forward with a second procedure to sacrifice the entire vessel, which we knew would cause a stroke, but nobody could predict how that would affect Poppy's motor skills going forward. There was literally nothing for me to do. We had no choice but to surrender. We were not in control, and so our faith was everything. I mean, they thought she could maybe never walk or talk. So it was a total miracle after miracle. She was moving all of her limbs within a day. Yeah, during this time, something shifted with our doTERRA team, and we hit gold while we were in the hospital while Poppy was still recovering. I struggled a lot in my business up until that point, just trying to figure out what I offered my team, what I really had to bring to the table for them. And I had this opportunity leading up to that time to decide to show up for them and to serve them and to love them and support them. And it was amazing because then there we were in the hospital and they totally showed up for us. In my yoga classes, I have always taught that expectation keeps the lid on possibility. And I know that for myself, when I've been able to release and just move through my expectations and my own understanding, there has been possibility and opportunity and blessings beyond what I could have ever imagined, beyond what I could have ever dreamed of. 1 year after we experienced all of that with Poppy, a year later we became diamonds. And we have certainly faced a lot of unknowns. We've dealt with a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety about our daughter's health. And there is absolutely no way I could have turned Poppy's care over to someone else. There's no way I could have returned to work outside of our home, and by the mercy and grace of God, I didn't have to.
So I did my undergraduate degree in business, focusing on human resources because I wanted to work with people. I always knew that was a part of me. So I graduated, got my degree, and was working a job focusing on human resources, and the company got rid of that position. And so I was kind of like in this space of, okay, now what do I do? I'd been with the company for so long. I was sitting outside of TJ Maxx and I was contemplating what I was going to do, what is my next step going to be. And something brought me to look at master's degree programs. And I saw the degree program for mental health counseling. And I don't know, like I felt like my passion was ignited and I knew that that's what I needed to do. How I was introduced to doTERRA, I was experiencing some seasonal threats and nothing else seemed to be working. And so I reached out to a friend. She introduced me to Melaleuca and I started out with one oil. Then I don't know, I got hooked, obviously, because it works. And so I started, any issue that I had, any condition, I just started researching, okay, what oils can I use to support that and to support my own health and my own body. And I just remember thinking, wow, like these oils can help me to support my emotional health. So like, why not be able to share that with other people? And why not bring that into my career and my profession? Honestly, with everyone that I share with, it's like this realization that there's something out there that they can tap into that's safe and that's natural and that works. It's like this eye-opener. Wow, I can use this to help me feel joyful when I'm feeling sad. And so to be able to help other people to see that and to feel empowered to use that is rewarding for me in itself. It's a positive reaction from anyone that I introduce it to. And it's like this, wow, I never knew that was available to me. Can I have some more of it? And how do I get more of it? Once people experience the oils, they speak for themselves. And for me, it's just an honor to be able to get to be one of the people to introduce them to that, and to be able to say, hey, this is here. You can use it, and so when they come back and they feel relief and they feel well supported, I'm like, yeah, that's great, we can do this together.
There are many stories that you hear about how essential oils have helped families, and this is mine. A lot of people were introduced to doTERRA, or they decide that they want to embark in this business. And I feel like the business chose me because a friend of mine had posted on Facebook that she wanted a ride to go to this essential oil class. And so I went to this class where I knew nobody, and there were all these babies. I wasn't pregnant. I had no baby with me. And I was very uncomfortable. And I was one of those people, that sat at the back of the class. It's like, don't even try. And that was my attitude throughout the whole class until they were passing around the bottles of oil, and one oil after another was just like, as I was inhaling it, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I opened that bottle of wild orange. I did not want to pass it because I was in a very dark place in my life. At that time, my children and I were living in transitional living, which is a program for displaced families who were victims of domestic abuse. Things were very, very rough. And it's sad, looking back now, but I really didn't have $150. And I couldn't stop thinking about the oils. I couldn't stop thinking about what I had to do and how to get these oils. And so I went around the house, and we didn't have a lot of things, but we had some things I had, kind of held on for many years. And I picked everything that was not necessary, and I brought it to a consignment store and sold it. So I got $150, and I called this, the lady that was hosting the class and said, I've got it, I can sign up. And she's like, all right, here's my ID number, call customer service, they'll help you. So I signed, I called them, and I was so excited, and my card was declined because I had $153, and the family physician's kit with shipping and tax was $167.24. I didn't have it, and I was just devastated. And I thought, you know what? I think this is a sign. I'm not supposed to do this. I was just a presence in my life at the time. But when I had those oils and the samples that I had been given and I was using them, I felt present. You know, I wasn't just a presence, I was present. And that to me was what I felt was going to be life-changing. So I was very, very upset that I didn't have this $150. And I was sitting in my backyard, I was crying, and my daughter, I'm skipping along, and she's like, Mom, why are you crying? I'm like, oh, those oils that I wanted to buy, well, it turns out we can't. I don't have enough money. I said, but on the bright side, honey, we can go bowling and we can order pizza, which we haven't done in 2 years. And I think we might even have enough money for ice cream afterwards. And I'm like, what do you think of that? And she's like, cool, Mom. Yeah, I think that's cool. And then a few minutes later, my little girl comes back with like the 3, toys that she had. And she's like, puts it down in front of me and she's like, hey, if we were to sell this, would you have enough money then? I really want you to have these oils, Mom, because I can see that you want them and you're happy, and I like them too, and I like you. I like the way you are when you have these oils. My daughter had her priorities right. She was so young, and she knew what was important and what was real and what you needed to focus on and pay attention to when it came to the quality of your life. And she has been my biggest teacher in that aspect. And so 2 weeks later, we found, the consignment store called me and said, hey, we have a few more items of yours that just sold. Boom, we had the money. And then we had the family physician's kit, and then there was no stopping us. The place I am right now with my business is that I want to have fun. I've created a caricature called the Oil Maverick, who, is not out to, cause any problems, but really to kind of help tell people to lighten up. And this one I like because this is, I think, something very relatable. I have essential oils because my 5-year-old has friends who will lick everything, and they learned this from him. Essential oils from doTERRA have given me more than I could ever expect. I've used essential oils. I've used it for over 20 years, in fact, for most of my life. And they always met my expectation. Those oils always met my expectation. But with doTERRA, it exceeded my expectations. The things that I didn't know essential oils could do, couldn't even imagine, is here for me. And I am so grateful that doTERRA came into my life.
You know, success is something that we all have the ability to access, and it has to come from within. Like if I were doing a soul review, if I were to leave this planet, like tomorrow, am I okay with what I've done? You know, did I leave the mark that I want to leave? I don't know if I can answer that entirely as a yes yet, but I feel like with doTERRA, I'm on the right path. I'm Jules Weinberg. I live outside of Asheville, North Carolina, in a place called Arden. I am a Blue Diamond with doTERRA, and I'm also the author of The Essential Mixologist and The Essential Foodie, co-founder of Cultivate Wellness with my beautiful wife, Meredith Kelly. Food and drink, when it comes to the essential oils, is definitely my sweet spot. It's where my heart just explodes with creativity, joy. I just love being in the kitchen. Wild orange is one of my top. I use it all the time. I infuse it into drinks, smoothies, and it's very uplifting. And the flavor profile of cardamom, how it supports your immune system, and just the co-impact sourcing story behind it. I just love teaching people how to use the oils. There's a real nuance to it and a bit of an art. Before doTERRA, I was actually in the entertainment industry, and I was a writer, producer, and director, and I always had this affinity for a natural lifestyle, and so I used herbs, vitamins, tried to eat healthy. In the midst of my film career, I was invited to open up a wellness center with a really good friend of mine. We opened up Herbalicious. It's actually where Meredith and I met, and it was there that I was first introduced to essential oils, and I just fell madly in love with them. I say love at first smell. And so my career imploded as a producer in 2011, and it was then that doTERRA came into our lives, and it was so clear when I experienced the quality of these oils, learned a lot about the company and the integrity and the foundation of this company, that this was going to be our next step.
My name is Meredith Kelly. I'm also a doTERRA Blue Diamond, and I am a healer. My background is massage therapy, and I focus my body work now in oils and aromatherapy with a specialized technique called aroma touch. Before doTERRA found me, I was a massage therapist, and I was doing that for about 20 years. At that time, I was really struggling with digestive upset from taking antibiotics for Lyme disease. The oils that were shared with me were shared just specifically for my massage practice. And when I got the kit that I ordered, it had a bottle of Digest Zen in it. I thought, wow, yeah, I need some Zen in my digest. And I was blown away, totally blown away by the results, because I was literally struggling for 3 years with so much discomfort in my stomach. So the oils shifted all of that, and it gave me some time to see that massage therapy was actually burning me out physically. Now I get to teach people how to use the oils in a very specific way in their family or with their own clients, and that's one of my favorite things that I love to do, is give people that experience of aroma touch. It's kind of where I pour my love for body work into the oils, and it's so much better on my body. My body is thankful that I don't have to do that deep tissue work all the time. Not enough people out there have natural solutions when it comes to their health, and I want to be a voice. I want to be a voice for nature. I want to be a voice for these oils so that people can go to nature first for that first line of defense. I feel like that's my role with the oils, and I get to do it in so many different ways. I can do it online, which is what I do with the bulk of my time, but I also still get to spend special moments with people in person and putting oils on their bodies and helping them to actually feel the benefits. Learning how to really flow with this business in a harmonious way is finding people that are in alignment with your goals. One of the mistakes that I made in the beginning with my mindset was thinking that this was just a 4-year career and I was going to jump in and jump out. It's not a sprint, it's more of a marathon. And being consistent with those daily income producing activities, that's really where the magic happens. And making it more about the other than about you.
The most important piece really with anything in life is to enjoy the journey, right? It's not about the destination. We hear that all the time, but it's so true. And if you're always looking for what that next mountain is that you're going to climb, you just never realize where you are in the moment. You don't take in the view. Be where you are. Be here now and enjoy it. It's a wonderful ride.
we really do normalize not getting enough sleep. When I very first got pregnant, one of the first things to go was my sleep. So my sleep got really disrupted. I kind of thought, well, this will resolve itself when I have my baby. I'm going to be up all night anyways. It'll be fine. And so, I have a baby that's sleeping through the night from, about 6 months on, where I'm still awake for hours and hours in the middle of the night. I just kind of normalized it, like so many people do with sleep. Oh, well, I guess I'm a bad sleeper. I'd had my oils for about 6 months at this point. I kept reading again and again, Serenity is so beautiful for supporting healthy sleep. I thought, well, at this point, I don't have anything to lose. I got the Serenity, I put it in my diffuser, I turned the diffuser on, and I set my alarm, and I fell asleep. At the time I didn't notice it because it happened so quickly, and I woke up when my alarm went off, and it had been almost 3 years since I had slept that long and that well. Always the skeptic. I'm like, it's probably just a coincidence. Just the one night in 3 years that I actually slept through the night also was the night I had Serenity. I'm sure it's not related. I'm sure tomorrow night we'll be back to my old pattern. Except then tomorrow night, then I put the oils in the diffuser again, and I turned on the diffuser, and then I slept. And then the next night I slept, and then the next night I slept. And I managed to get myself back into this beautiful, really healthy, normal sleep routine. And it was at that point that I kind of couldn't deny that this was something really special. When you're in kind of a dark spiral of not sleeping well, you don't really realize how much it impacts the rest of your life. And it really wasn't until I started sleeping again that I realized how hard things were in every area of my life, how much had disintegrated in my marriage, what a short-tempered mom I was. And that was really hard to realize. Let's see. Once I started, kind of sleeping again, the biggest things were just feeling like I had the energy to really show up in my life. I had the energy to, start going to the gym, sit down on the floor and play blocks with my little one, go on a date with my husband. Serenity is a favorite of everybody in the family. We put Serenity in her diffuser every night. We have a Serenity roller. Everybody gets it on our feet before bed. It's a really beautiful part of our nighttime routine. So now my life is full. It's rich. I can choose how I show up in it rather than just showing up by default. And that feels really good.
So my name is Ashley Jackson, and I am from Fayetteville, Georgia, where I still live with my husband and my 3 children. And I am a ninth grade math teacher. Ninth grade math teacher. My dad always told me when I was growing up that you should be a teacher. When I was in high school, he was like, you should be a teacher. And I'm like, no thanks. I don't want to deal with anybody else's kids. But it really is my passion, and I really do enjoy it. Being in the classroom, of course, I'm always concerned about my health, and not just my physical health, but my mental and emotional health. We have been immensely blessed with essential oils. These are my favorite earrings because there's an oil for that. We use On Guard every day. On Guard was one of the first oils that I ever purchased. It has really helped us to stay healthy during all of the seasons. Since we've been using essential oils, my kids and I have been able to maintain almost perfect attendance in school, which is nuts sometimes. In the last year, I've really been in tune with how my students show up in the classroom. When they walk through the door, are they smiling? What's going on with that kid? Did they have a rough morning? Are they having a hard time focusing? And I've been able to share essential oils with some of my students, and they sometimes need support to get from one place to the next, and they need that support to know that it really is going to be okay. So they trust me. They love the oils. They love the smell of it. It just does something with the atmosphere of the classroom. I've had kids come into my room and say it feels like a peaceful place always in my room. It really makes my heart want to be able to share with all of the parents that are sending all of the kids to school, whether they're sending them to school or if they're going to be learning from home. Being able to share something that can support them in their learning is really what I would, really what I have a passion for doing. I trust doTERRA because I know they work. Bottom line, I know they work.